Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is a reference image viewer program thing. Basically, let's say that I have a folder full of images that I want to use for reference. There's a program called pureRef, which is very good for this. So if I launch it, I can resize this canvas to whatever I want. And all I do is I can select these images in a folder and then just click and drag them into here, and it will copy them in here. On the pureRef website, it gives you like a list of all the hotkeys and everything, so I'm not going to go into that too much. I just kind of want to show you what it's able to do to see if it's of interest to you or not. So, I can pan around, zoom in, all that kind of junk. And I can rearrange and normalize these images quite nicely. So let's say that I wanted this, and these images here to be part of a group. I can select them, either by click dragging or, select them individually like that. Right click, images, normalize, height, and now they all have the same height. And then if I were to go to images, align left, they're all aligned left, and then images, align top. Now they're all aligned, at the top. Okay, now that's doing it manually, by right-clicking, menu, that kind of thing. But you have hotkeys for this stuff too if you want. So I'll do these three here, and let's do these four, because these two look like they belong together. So we'll do these four, and we'll go images, normalize the height. And what I'll do is I'll hold Control, up arrow, and then left to do the whole aligning thing. And then I can select all of them and go up and then left to align those two together, just sort of clean it up. And then I'll just repeat the process with these. So I'm just going to normalize the height, and then up and left, and I'll just like that. Now let's say that I'm happy with my position of the images. What I can do, like all of this light gray stuff, that's the canvas. So what I typically do is I just go to Canvas Optimize to get rid of all of that stuff, and then Canvas Lock Canvas so that I can't move these images around, right? So that they're locked to, I can move the canvas around like this, but I'm not going to be able to click and move these images out of place, right? So I don't have to worry about that. That's not too shabby. The other thing I can do is I can sort of double click on any one of these images to and then double click to get out of it, to quickly, zoom into one of these. And let's say that I want to use, I can also use my arrow keys to kind of go through them. So if I hit the right arrow, it gets me to 1, and then I can just right arrow, left arrow to sort of navigate around, right? So right arrow, left arrow, left arrow, left arrow, like that. So I can use my arrow keys to sort of navigate around quite nicely. And let me resize this whole canvas thing area right here. And let me unlock the canvas so I can move it around. Alright, okay, that doesn't make a difference. So click and drag. I don't actually know how to move this thing. Move, Windows, canvas images. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, I can just do this however I want. The main thing I wanted to show you here is that I can resize this canvas, and then when I use my arrow keys, it'll update the sizing appropriately. Alright, so it's very space efficient in that regard. I think that gives you a fairly good idea of that. Another thing you can do, one thing I'll show you. So let's say that I'm happy with this. I can right click, save as, and let me save it in the same folder. New scene, yeah sure, we'll call it new scene. So we'll save it. And let me shut it down. And then if I load this, it will load it with the images. Let me close it down again and delete these images. Right. So when you create this scene, it's got the images saved in this file. So even if you got rid of the original images, you still have these in here. Right. I just want to point that out. That, I think, is the gist of it. There's more to it than that, but I think this will give you a fairly good idea of what it can do and whether it's of interest to you or not. Let me show you where you can get it. So if you go to Google or Bing or whatever, just type in pureref, and it's pureref.com, like that. And you know, it has some pretty good support and all that kind of stuff here. It tells you a little bit more how to do it. I don't actually have the latest one as well, so they may have added some features. When you click download, it's going to ask you, it's a pay what you want kind of deal. You can pay $0, you can pay, you know, $20, it's in euros, whatever. It's like a donation type thing, so just keep that in mind. I personally find it very helpful. I like it. It's not bad. So if you don't have like an image viewer that you're happy with, this is one that is really good for viewing multiple images in one go. That's sort of the deal, because I used to have to open up these images one at a time, and now I can create like a canvas of images that I can, you know, cycle through quite easily. Sorry, that's my auto save right there. That's Maya taking over. Yeah, you know, I can cycle through my images nicely. It's easy for me to, you know, add images to this thing and rearrange them the way I like, you know, so it's very nice in that regard. So yeah, if you're looking for something, give it a shot.